Is this thing on? Well, welcome back to Big Mouth, and fancy seeing you here in June. A very welcome, my friends, and especially my enemies. Come in, sit down, no touching. I don't do the touching. Hi, I'm Mick Meanus, and you can follow me on Twitter to keep the conversation going at Movies TV Mad. And welcome to the EastEnders report, the video you thought was never coming. It's been a very, very long time, fellow EastEnders fans. I wanted to give it some time to give Kate Oates the chance and opportunity to get her EastEnders out there and her show before I kind of spoke about what she's doing and my opinions. Without question, recasting Ben was pivotal. Now, it's kind of funny in a way because he looks nothing like any of the other Bens. He really doesn't have the character or the personality of any of the other Bens. But he's a great actor, and the narrative for him is absolutely fantastic. Now, what great storytellers and producers do is take actors and characters who are pretty much just their comedy sidekicks or on the bench and barely get any screen time, and take them and do something so powerful and so amazing. And this is what Kate Oates has done with the character of Callum. This lad was brought in by the previous producer showrunner just to be comedy. And she has taken him and done something so real and so raw. And it's genius. Of course, you need a young actor who can take on that responsibility. And this young man has done that. This is not just about recreating Rob Ron. She created Rob Ron on Emmerdale, which was sensational. Now, Aaron and Robert from Emmerdale, if you don't watch Emmerdale, had basically this relationship very similar to what you're seeing now. And before Robert fell in love with Aaron, Robert was a straight dude, or so we thought. But there is this kind of conjecture that you don't have to be gay to fall in love with someone of the same sex and to make love to them. I'm just being practical here. I'm just talking about it. And I actually believe that. And actually, I'm not quite sure if we're trying to say that Robert's gay or just in love with Aaron. Someone else can answer that. But this is the EastEnders report. So we take someone like Callum, who we thought was straight. But what she does is, this is a very, very compelling coming out story. But what she does is, she brings back Ben and she's trying to mould him, not as the new Phil Mitchell, but as the new Grant Mitchell. But this is a new Grant Mitchell who's actually gay, right? Which is kind of a big statement. So a lot of soaps, when they have gay characters, they're not masculine, they're very feminine. You know, like Sean Tully from Coronation Street. Hello there. So I hate that stereotyping because we know anyone can be gay. People who talk like this are people who talk like this. It doesn't necessarily mean because you're gay, you all of a sudden talk like this. But you can do. You can do, of course. Some people actually put that voice on. But the point is, with Callum, nobody would have seen this coming. So what she's done is, this is so clever. She's taken a character that we didn't really care about. We didn't really notice, right? And she's giving him a compelling storyline. And this kind of Ben and Callum's storyline has been massive for the show. Now, of course, we had a really, really big storyline with Mel's son coming back and the siege and all of that. Again, very powerful. So all of a sudden, you've got Ben and you've got Callum. The audience want to see this. It's very well played. It's very well written. Kate has done a tremendous job because not only has she given EastEnders their Rob Ron, it's not a poor imitation. It's actually as good. But dare I say it, it might even be better. Now, I think that Rob Ron were great in the early days when there was the struggles and they weren't getting together. I think now they're together, to me, they bore me. And let's not forget that they did the whole storyline of Victoria getting raped so they could have another kind of vessel, another storyline that involved Aaron and Robert. So that's really, they're not as good anymore, and they're not as effective. Now, obviously, what is the name they're using for Callum and Ben? Oh, someone comment down below, because I don't know it. Is it Calbum or whatever it is? Ballum. Ballum, it's Ballum, isn't it? Yeah, hilarious nickname. I like it. It's going to stick. I wonder if I hashtag that, if it works. So she's come up with something really good. So she came in and she had to utilise what she had because, you know, there's contracts on and you can't just get rid of the people you want to get rid of. So she's really used the Carters very little, as I told you she would. They're there, but apparently she's thinking of doing something with Linda, very exciting. And this is what I also said, that she would utilise Linda because she's such a great actor. She's the only part, really, of the Slaters that was taken seriously within the casting. Now, Danny Dyer was just there to kind of trigger people into watching, if you like. I mean, I can't believe this guy keeps on winning Best Actor. I love the Dyer, but he's not a very good actor, and we all know that. All he's doing is actually playing himself. It'll be very interesting if he survives for another contract. We'll see what she does, or if she actually does anything with him. But what she has done, she's utilised all the tools that she was left with. And let's be honest, she's been left with a lot of blunt tools, but she's done great with them. I think there's some characters there that I wouldn't have kept, and I don't think I personally think she won't keep those people. I think that some people will stay. Some people have actually improved. I mean, bringing back Lola was very, very important because that young actor was sacked by Dominic Treadwell-Collins, and I remember her putting an interesting, tasty post on Twitter about how being treated like this, and I remember commenting on it, and she actually liked it. So I wasn't so far from the truth. So it's great to have her back. She's a brilliant girl. She's a brilliant kid, and I'm glad she got her job back because that's always the case, and it kind of gives Jay something to do. Jay's still a spare wheel. She doesn't seem. I think the actor who plays Jay was very good as a child actor. I don't find him very convincing. I probably think ultimately they'll get rid of him. I think they will look for another foil for Ben. Ben needs a foil to play up against. I would suspect that might be Keanu with the way things are shaping up. But it will be interesting. It will be interesting because Ben will need a foil, and it can't just be Callum and Ben because this is EastEnders and he's a Mitchell and there's a tradition there. So I'm very happy with the top tier stuff and how she's done it, how she's utilised what she was left with. But I do see a problem. EastEnders has had a problem with consistency. But of course, this is Kate Oates. And she's rebranding the show. She's bringing back what EastEnders was. This is what she promised to do. Already with The Siege and Ballum, she's kept that promise. But what's below them? What's underneath them? Are they interesting? Are the other new characters she's introduced actually any good? Well, so far, I haven't been impressed. Now, when Grant Mitchell was the big thing when he was full-time on EastEnders, it was Grant and Phil, Sharon, or Tiffany, and they had nothing. They had the Mitchells, and they had nothing underneath them. Now, if Kate's not careful, she could have the same situation. She's got Ballum, right? What else is she doing? What else is there? And this is what really concerns me, because if Ben Mitchell isn't in a scene, if Callum is not in a scene, if that's not going on, is there anything of any interest that will keep the show being consistent? And EastEnders needs consistency. Everyone's been praising it last week and since past few weeks. But the problem is with that, a soap has to be consistent. And when you look at consistency, you don't look at Emmerdale and you don't look at Coronation Street. You look at Hollyoaks. Now, a lot of people say about Hollyoaks, Hollyoaks for kids, for teens. But if you watch that show, Brian Kirkwood's got that show really consistent. Always something going on, always really exciting, and really, really a compelling show. It's not what you think it is. If you check it out for a week, you'll see how consistent they are. And EastEnders needs that type of consistency. Now, obviously, Rome wasn't built in a day. What she's done so far with Callum and Ben and with The Siege is very good. But we're now in September, and obviously this is when it's really kicked off. Before, throughout the summer, it was slow. There were problems because she'd just come in. And you can't just throw people out and bring people in. But I think recasting Ben was the key move here. Utilising the actor who plays Callum, instead of being Sideshow Bob, he became the major Shakespearean character. But there's no question about it. She is shaping Ben Mitchell to be the next Grant Mitchell, not Phil Mitchell. And this is what we're seeing here. So this is more than just him being in this relationship with Callum, which is a great dynamic. But this character is going to be that Grant Mitchell. He is the one who's always going to get beaten up or shot or in this big, hardcore storyline. He's always going to have arcs. It's always going to be, he will lead this. Basically, this guy's been cast because he's so good. This was great casting in terms of talent. It wasn't great casting in terms of saying, oh, yeah, that's totally Ben. No, absolutely not. But Ben's got, what she has utilised very well is Ben's problematic history in terms of his character. Not problematic of him being a bad character, because Ben, his backstory is pretty emotional and really good. I don't particularly think some of the casting, I don't think any of the castings for him were great. And I think she was right not to go with the previous actor. And I think he was very polite about it. She was very polite to him. And that's how it works. When you get rid of someone, you are polite. But he will never be back on EastEnders again. This young man is doing a great job, and they are moulding him and grooming him to be the next Grant Mitchell. This is what she has to do. So now she keeps on casting really good talent now. And the questions are now, who is she going to get rid of? Who do you want her to get rid of? I think there's... Slowly, you'll see people leaving, but she's also utilising existing characters and giving them a broader spectrum to play around. Listen, Kate Oates has great quality. This is what she does. She did a great job on Emmerdale. Now, her job on Coronation Street is an interesting one, because Coronation Street's really hard, because Coronation Street really is a black comedy. And before, that's not me being racist, a black comedy basically means something that's actually drama, but has a lot of comedy within that drama. And that's what Coronation Street's always done. When she came in, she made it very dramatic. She believes comedy is within the drama. So she changed Coronation Street to a very hard-edged, violent, gritty TV drama. She did a good job, but it wasn't Coronation Street. And in the end, she upset the fans, the hardcore. She had to go. So she didn't do a bad job on Coronation Street. She was just making the show something it wasn't. And again, she was trying to reinvent the show. Nothing wrong with that. But anyway, she's on EastEnders. Literally, she's perfect for EastEnders, Kate. She's perfect because she believes in hard-edged drama. She believes in serious shows. One day, she'll get a 9 p.m. drama. This woman is going places. This woman could end up having a big contract on Netflix. She could end up in Hollywood. This is how good. And she's working her way up in the industry. I love this woman. This woman is fantastic. And if you're a young, girl wanting to get into production and work on a drama like Kate's done, you should really look at her career. She's amazing, but she's got the talent. So she believes in hardcore drama, and that's what EastEnders was created to do. We must cover social issues, but we must also have the fantastic violence and the grit. So EastEnders is a conundrum of two things, dealing with social issues. Now, what she will do is she will tackle social issues that haven't been tackled before. And I think that's important. We've done rape, we've done this, we've done that. Do something a bit more different and a bit more interesting, because there's people out there suffering and you're not covering their issues. And EastEnders should be doing that. So my report so far on Kate Oates is quite simple. She's done a really, really good job. She's done the job I expected her to do. I was kind of concerned that the BBC were hampering her at first, but obviously this has got Kate Oates all over it. But she's an intelligent woman, and I'm sure she understands that she can't just focus on Sharon, Keanu, Callum, Ben. There has to be a still undertone where when those actors want a break, and you have to be able to give them a break. I mean, when Kemp was playing Grant, he sometimes would sacrifice his breaks because they had nothing underneath him. So when we were all shocked when he signed the contract for ITV and Ross left, they had nothing apart from Phil. So what happened was they gave Phil this big year storyline of who shot Phil Mitchell. They made him a bastard. But then Steve goes, well, hang on a minute. I want a break. I want to do other material. I'm kind of getting fed up of EastEnders. So he literally took a year off, and the show suffered and struggled. The showrunners then weren't very good. That was the beginning. That was the beginning of the Kate Harwood era. This is when this whole nightmare scenario of 15, 20 years of EastEnders mediocrity began. Now, they desperately brought in Leslie Grantham. And at first, when he was playing off Steve, McFadden. It was beautiful. But once Steve left and the writing got weaker, which Leslie at the time actually said on Jeremy Kyle, yes, he was on the Jeremy Kyle show, and they had problems, and they had problems ever since. But now they've got Kate. She's restructuring the show, and I think, as I say, you've got to have more than Ben Mitchell underneath, or you're going to have a problem. So it's going to be very interesting. I haven't particularly been impressed with her other new characters, but it's early days yet. It's only been a few months. She has to kind of transcript their storylines and their development. And, you know, soaps are a slow burn as well. So my report so far for EastEnders is 5 stars. Very exciting. So far, Kate's done a great job. I'm very excited and intrigued to see what she'll be laying out there for Christmas as well. So please comment down below. If you like the video and what I had to say, please subscribe. Please hit that notification button. And remember, Twitter @MoviesTVMad to continue this conversation. I'll see you again later.